somewhere in the bowels of the city that never sleeps,
Kevin McCullough, radio host with Salem Media,
is a man also not sleeping.
Syndicated radio talk show host Kevin McCullough.
And that guy would like a word with you.
Many of you know him as Nostradamus.
Of course that Kevin show is going to be great. The only thing that could be greater, of course, would be that Donald show. But we don't have that, so we have that Kevin show.
Featuring the music of Dick Tunney and the Dream in Color Orchestra. And tonight on That Kevin Show, she's the very definition of an independent woman, Carrie Sheffield. He is a two-time heavyweight boxing champion, not called tiny, Big George Foreman. He played Indiana Jones for all of a half second. Now he's nefarious. It is Sean Patrick Flannery. And in the spotlight, Lindsay L. And now, from Times Square, the place where only Joe Biden, the senator from Delaware, could ever forget visiting, here's that Kevin.
How are you? It is great to see you. A very busy week for me. I hope you had a great week. And do we have a fun show for you tonight? I cannot believe how much fun we're going to have tonight. Do you like movies? We got two movies we're going to talk about tonight. One of them is on pace to become one of the number one big performers for the weekend. Big George Foreman, the big man himself, two-time heavyweight champion, twice defended. He did lose it once. But we've got George Foreman on the show tonight. That should be fantastic. And then I didn't know this, but my buddy Steve Dace, who I've known 100 years in talk radio, he's over at the Blaze place. He did a little radio for Salem Radio for a while, and very, very popular, especially in the Midwest. I mean, where the corn stalks and the pigs grow, Steve Dace is second to none. And he's been filling the world with common sense for years. But he's got a brand new movie that's out. This is the second week out, I think. Nefarious is the name of it. It's based on the Nefarious Plot, the book written by Steve Dace. And in the lead of the person that is the creepiest, the slimiest, the dirtiest, the baddest of the bad, we've got Sean Patrick Flannery tonight. And I did not know this. Lovely Bride had to inform me on this because she's more culturally aware than I am on a lot of stuff. He actually played Indiana Jones in the Young Indy Adventures of Young Indiana or something like that television show. It was on for like half a second, but he was on, and evidently he was the heartthrob because it wasn't just the Lovely Bride that had the crushes. So anyway, we've got both of those guys in with us tonight. Carrie Sheffield's going to be here in the next segment. We're going to talk with her about some very important stuff that is kind of pulling the nation apart at the fabric, a revolution that is not helpful or beneficial, she will argue, and that is, in fact, a socialist revolution, not dissimilar to the Marx revolution in the Soviet Union or in Russia in the day. And then we're also going to talk to Lindsay L. Lindsay, the last time she was with us, which was the very first episode of That Kevin Show, she promised that when she had new music out, she would come back and pay us a visit. And she has kept her word. She is here tonight. Her new song, The Sweet Spot, will be in the new music spotlight tonight. And we are thrilled to have that happen. Now, back to what announcer Dave said there. The only place that Joe Biden... or the only person that could forget ever being in Times Square is Joe Biden. And I think that may be a little bit harsh, but it rings about 80% true on the fact check. He was asked by kids today, or this week, where's the last place you visited? And he couldn't remember that it was Ireland in less than 2 weeks ago, and he was there for a long time. And he went there because he was stiffing, he was standing up, he was saying, go pound sand to King Charles, because he was invited to the coronation. So he's sending Dr. Jill Biden in this place. Anyway, so that's kind of the lay of the land. Yes, Times Square is unforgettable, and we're thrilled to be able to come to you from such an iconic location each and every week. All right, I want to get to what I consider to be a fairly serious and very important story, but it does ring out for sarcasm. I don't know if you saw this week, but there was a little interaction between the Energy Secretary, Jennifer Granholm, and Joni Ernst, Senator from Florida. Now, you may remember Ms. Granholm. Ms. Granholm is the one that said, when asked, well, what if Americans can't afford the price of gas because of all the restrictions you're putting on it, and it's raising the prices, and gas prices are 3 times what they were when Joe Biden came in and so forth. And her response to the questioner was, well, go buy an electric car. That was literally like, just go do it. So many of us can afford a $70,000 vehicle that we don't currently have. Well, she's back, and the string of hits just keep on playing. She appeared before the Senate subcommittee exploring this idea of whether or not the military should swap out all of our fleet to only EV-powered products. Here's how the question went.
Swapping of the military's non-tactical vehicles for an all-electric fleet, again, by 2030, really is putting the climate crusade ahead of our department's lethality. We need to focus on that first. So do you support the military adopting that EV fleet by 2030?
I do, and I think we can get there as well. And I do think that reducing our reliance on the volatility of globally traded fossil fuels, where we know that global events such as the war in Ukraine can jack up prices for people back home, it does not contribute to energy security. I think energy security is achieved when we have homegrown clean energy that is abundant, like you see in Iowa. We think that we can be a leader globally in how we have become energy independent.
Okay, one thing is real clear. I don't want the military to worry about becoming energy independent. What I want the military to do is to have the maximum capacity to go wage and fight and win the war that they have to win if we are attacked. I want them to kill people and break things. That's the only thing that the military exists for, is to kill people and break things when we need them to. And I don't want to be, we can't get our tanks out because they didn't charge overnight. I don't think you can win a war waiting for a battery to charge. Sorry, I'm just kind of crazy that way. Now, I had a busy week this week. I filled in for Will Cow on the Salem News Channel. I filled in for Mike Gallagher on the Salem Radio Network and the Salem News Channel. And I filled in for my local man, the amazing Joe Piscopo. And I brought this topic to all of those audiences. And a caller from California wanted to take issue with me.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I want to discuss the idea that the military is only about killing people and breaking things, which I understand is a rhetorical statement, but also, we are the most advanced fighting force. We should have the latest technology in the world, and every other major country in the world is going this route. You do have to make sure that you're integrating fossil fuels in the process, but once you have all of those battery materials, they're yours forever. They cannot be spent. They are recharged. Sometimes you do have to replace them. But when you're in places like Afghanistan, in the Middle East, those are sandy terrains. Combustion engines suck in air. The soil and the grains from that environment destroy our equipment to the extent they have to
ask you this question that's screaming out, because I think half the audience is asked. Are you a scientist? Are you an engineer?
I work in an electric car company.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for the call. Good to know. There you go. So we got to, of course, she's going to side with getting the entire fleet to be electrical vehicle powered, because that's what her company produces, at least the one she works for. But friends, if you'll notice, and I said it here again tonight, I'm not arguing that we should be only combustible engines. I'm not arguing that we should be only electric vehicles. I want the maximum capacity for the military to operate. I want them to have all options, and I want them to be able to go kill people and break things, because that's the job of the military. And I was wondering if I was a little bit confused. So when I sat in for Joe Piscopo, I asked General Jack Keane, who I'd invited on the show.
The ground forces are nomadic, and they have to be. They have to move and be able to have the capacity to move in third world countries where you're not plugged into anything that country has. It's
Right.
Water, it's food, it's electricity. So the infrastructure to support electric vehicles is not there in the military. And that we're years away from ever doing something like that. We're in the beginning stages of converting to hybrid electric vehicles, obviously, to save on energy costs, etc. And that's a good thing.
It is a good thing. And then I asked him, But we haven't even considered this. What about powering all of our vehicles via nuclear? And he said, Kev, that's a great observation. And he said, actually, there's research ongoing to try to make that very thing happen. You ever figure out in Star Wars, they never have to fuel up any of the ships because they're all nuclear? I know it's a pretend movie, but wouldn't that be the concept that would beat all of this stuff and satisfy the greenies to keep the environment clean? I think so. Kevin McCullough, glad you're with us. A big, fun Saturday night. Straight ahead, Lindsay L in the spotlight later. Coming right back.